one.
Yeah.
Let's move into game 2 and see what happens as we move into more interesting Fearless drafts now that the big picks are gone. The Rumble, the Ryze, the Pantheon, the Ambessa, the Taliyah. With Taliyah gone this early, it really opens up a lot. Like, the Azir is always going to be burned into your screen on that red side first ban. Nico continues to be high prio. They take away the Annie from Vikla, which does make sense. Him on those utility picks, pretty crazy. BDD doesn't get his classic Orianna either. That's going to remain first 2 bans here. No Wukong ban thus far. Yunara still available.
Yeah, I mean, they could just go for the Wukong ban this time, and okay, never mind. Looking for the Wukong first pick, probably, after this.
Does look like that.
You would assume the Ornn ban that BNK went for last time should swap as well.
Yeah, I'm curious what they're going to ban instead, as there's still a lot left available. The Corki is also gone, by the way, which is kind of funny, as there's a lot you can trade here. Like Trundle, for example, not necessarily something you want to blind. Take away BDD's Yone, not one that he is known for, but has played a few games of it. I think this makes it a first pick Wukong here, but what you get in trade is a little bit more interesting. So you could prio a bottom lane pick. This is something we saw BNK do, where they picked the Kai'Sa early previously. Instead, with the Trundle no longer a factor, they'll just put clear on the Scion, potentially look for a front to back.
Well, Trundle's not a factor because they selected it themselves.
Okay.
So.
Well, Trundle not a factor into the Scion, of course.
Yeah, because they're not going to play Trundle top. Well, they could have.
But it might become an even stronger factor because the Cassante is looking to be potentially locked in here for perfect, interestingly, with the Aurora. This is a pretty weird approach here from KT Rolster, and it's very open-ended here for BNK. So you get the Scion because they don't have Trundle, because they already locked the Wukong. You get Trundle yourself. Now you don't have to worry about Jarvan because they locked the Wukong in, so you get the Sivir pick. And you're feeling great, I think, in this draft so far. See what they want to protect this Sivir with in the second phase. Could just try to eliminate some of the support picks that are strong into her, like the Alistar, which they, I believe, did ban last game as well.
Yep, that was their second ban here in the second phase.
I think the Kai'Sa first, which works with Wukong and Aurora very well, and can just kind of circumvent the Scion and Trundle very well. I love that we're not seeing blind Trundle. They're like, no, we have the right Trundle angle here.
Yeah.
We got it with Scion. We're ready to front to back.
Makes a lot of sense, and now they can just pick scaling behind it and have a really beefy front line. Not a whole lot of engage, but you have a lot of space to be made by those first couple of picks, and a champ that loves space to be made for her in the Sivir.
We also know, you and I have talked about this a lot, that Peter has only played 1 Bard game in his career, and it wasn't great, so you're probably not too worried about that pick.
Yeah. You and I cast that one. That was rough.
It was not great. Even though Sivir could be decent into Bard because of the spell shield, it works really well with the rest of KT's comp, but I just don't think they're going to play it. They take the Jhin away instead, so have limited Duck Dom purely, rather than banning away any of the support pool. As Poppy's taken away again, Victor, which also is a great scaling mid laner here for this draft that's going to go late and look to front to back, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The only issue is that now you give Kellen the Alistar.
Yeah, I think
he does want it.
I think he's going to be able to take that. As since you already know what BDD is on here, you, I think, want to get the prio pick, and that's what they're going to look for. So they take the Alistar because they don't want to play Sivir into it. It's also strong on the lane. And we end up with Xayah into this draft. Interesting. Xayah with Rakan, so a lot of great follow-up for this Wukong. There's a lot of strong engage here, and Sivir Spell Shield is pretty bad into Wukong in general. So that part is good, but Xayah trying to cut through this front line can be problematic. Let's see what Vikla ends up on here. Mid Arma.
What's going on here, Vikla?
I don't know about that.
What are you doing?
Mid
Morgana.
He said it was an any counter pick.
They don't have enough damage.
Okay, so hear me out though. Like,
I'm listening.
If you go Blackfire Torch, Liandry's, like you kill you kill the Cassante eventually, right? And also Morgana's spell shield, pretty good into Wukong on the initial setup, pretty good into Rakan engages, and like weirdly enough, Morgana in team fights, if you can just bind the Wukong as he's trying to get to you, then he does nothing. If you bind the Rakan, like with the Q, he does nothing, right? Like, you actually have the ability to shut down any type of engage or setup here of one of these forms of trying to get on top of you here from KT. And KT goes Xayah, not because I think it's good in the matchup necessarily, but because they know that they have such a strong front line and such strong engage that a range issue won't matter. Quick, clean, impressive. Looking for a BNK 3-0. Game 1, if there's anything to go by here, might actually... is looking for the Genji to pick T1 Chaos angle as well. I don't know if we're going to go that deep in this one, but a lot of Western representation here, looking for BNK to potentially win this series. I think KT have a solid draft here, especially when you consider the Morgana is a little bit more niche, a little bit tougher to pull off, but I'm just starting to trust Ryu now, Valdez. I think BNK have the right tools in this game.
Well, I want to see it happen. Let's see if it does as we hop on the rift for game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
Alrighty, game number 2, BNK off to a fantastic start. Remember though, yesterday, DK were able to get off to a fantastic start, and they kind of caught T1 unprepared, you could say. A little bit rusty, perhaps, and then T1 did come back to win the series, so still have to give credit to KT as the legend team, as the higher seed, to potentially come back. Not saying that it's a guarantee, especially with how BNK played in game 1.
Yeah. The amount of resources Diablo is getting, we haven't really seen this too much this year. Like, we've seen it in previous metas, like, obviously T1 is the team that comes to mind the most.
Or funnel metas.
Or you just, yeah, well, it's funnel metas, but like, where you just play through like diving bottom side, Faker gets prio, they're playing double marksman, and it's like, Guma's going to take over the game. We're putting everything into this. It's going to work. But BNK have their own unique take on just put Vikla on any sort of utility. Went for the utility build the last game on the Talia. Now he's playing Morgana a second time, which is more protection because there's already Spell Shield for Diablo. Now he's going to have Black Shield, and he's going to scale incredibly well. Now level 2 is that's a new level of committing to 80 carry pressure. He's actually not going to commit to the gank. He's just going to go over here and take this buff.
Imagine if he went pillar second. That would just be the most psychotic thing. Like the gank with the Trundle level 2 in the bottom lane. That would be insane.
If you look at Morgana's runes here, it's not going to help her win this lane. It's going to help her like try to do a little bit more damage back, as he's a Scorcher. As you can see already though on the minimap, Morgana is not really in a good spot in the game right now. Vikla did win on it,
yeah,
before. We didn't like it then. It worked though, like we mentioned in the pregame. I'm not sure if it's going to work really well in this matchup either, as BDD is dominating the lane thus far, keeping it pushed in, keeping that prio. He's CSing well though, and that is all you got to do in these early levels. As here comes Raptor. He's late though.
Here we go. Duck Dom in a rough spot. They're going to heal. Diablo is getting pretty low, but they're not going to expect Raptor to show up, as now should be able to force this flash out of Peter. They get it there. And now they're on the chase here for Duck Dom. Cuz is going to show up, and now the feathers pulled back. Raptor in a bit of trouble, has to flash himself. As now Duck Dom just on the chase, the double flash follow, gonna force that one out of Diablo 2. First blood given over to Duck Dom.
Yeah, it's just too good of a trade for KT in the initial salvo. They end up getting such a health advantage that even though Raptor's first on the play, he's still just a Trundle and is not able to solve things there in that bottom lane, and the rotation from Cuz comes in. Wukong not really known for his early game skirmishing, but the advantages that Duck Dom had there, as well as the flash he had there at the end, able to do a lot of work on the chase down. So a lot of summoners are down. We have 6 summoners down in terms of flashes here on the Rift, as well as those secondary summoners for supports. But watch how this happens initially here as Kellen goes in, but Diablo gets knocked up, which means that he takes a ton of damage here from Duck Dom, trying to bait them in because Raptor's coming down. If you look at the minimap though, you can see rotation of Cuz over, Duck Dom baits them into this brush here, and then, now we're too deep. And Duck Dom is able to get the Feather Call back. Raptor flashes away. They're able to follow with this flash here from Duck Dom. Cuz gets the follow-up flash as well. Does this without red buff, by the way, on the Wukong. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. This is the BNK we were expecting. You know, they start a fight and they're not going to back down. They don't run until it's very late. As, by the way, on this patch, Cassante 0 and 5 Morgan, 2 of those losses with Bro, Kingen, and Shiu taking some losses as well. So maybe Perfect can help the win rate of Cassante a little bit here today.
Yeah, Perfect not known really to Aatrox. As another loss streak here on the Alistar, as you guys can see. 1 and 5, but the last 5 in a row.
Perfect's going in on this one. He does have the shield and the dash. He's totally fine. But not exactly feeling very good about this lane into clear at the moment.
Fine for now. Has a cookie, so that will help you when you have this much health. Certainly makes you feel like you can kind of do anything, but he just really wants to get this wave pushed in. Wants that minion so badly, and he is not going to get it.
Yeah. That's just the thing about Sion, is that early actually is trading is kind of ridiculous. Guess who's back? Back again. It's Raptor in the bottom lane. As who could have expected this? Apparently not KT. As that's going to be the end of Duck Dom. No flash available. Even Perfect has the flash. Was going to get flash shield bombed. And I mean, that's BNK right back on the board.
If Clear flashes and his shield explodes and he gets one more auto, he's dead. He's also so incredibly close to 6 at that moment. Does get 6 now. And that's going to be the TP back from Perfect. Flashless now. They punish the flashless Xayah, who obviously doesn't have level 6. In the exchange there, bottom side, Kellen even trying to get these minions to crash into the turret is unsuccessful. Just annoys Peter. And now Duck Dom's back, but the lane swap here, as they did get the flash out of Perfect. And again, pretty good start here for BNK. Obviously the initial bottom side play did not work out, but this time he's got control vision here. There's no flash for this Xayah, gets stunned and then pillared and just taken out. The kill going to Diablo as well as the worst of it here for K2. Picks up a BF sword on the return.
Yeah, I just feel like it should be very predictable at this point, you know, that Raptor's probably going to look for another gank, that he's going to try to get his bottom lane far ahead if possible. The first gank didn't work, but he can always come back. I think the second that Peter steps away from the lane, Duck Dom has to respect the Alistar. Like, he has to back away with no flash. But he didn't, and instead he's just going to go down, as now trying to trade onto Sion. Sion finds that very funny.
End up taking a decent amount of damage, though.
Yeah.
And it's going to heal up off the fruit. Still a good position here, obviously, because this objective on the bottom side is up here for KT. So the lane swap not really giving a big benefit to BNK just yet, as they're not going to be able to punish this flashless Cassante on the top side, and Grubs haven't spawned yet. So this ends up being a big win here, as Clear does have level 6. Wow. And they respect it. Yeah. The rotation over from Raptor. He's so quick on this.
They knew it was happening, and I think KT just didn't expect them to heavily commit to it, which, as we know, this is what BNK loves to do, so they're going to say thank you for the leash.
And after game 1, like, who could blame KT? It went so badly for them there. They're just not going to take that chance again. And BNK, big objective pickup here. Gold is even. Got a much more interesting game on our hands here than game 1, but still BNK definitely feeling very good about this early game.
Yeah, absolutely. Early Ocean Drake going to feel very nice. There's actually a decent lead for the top laners this time around, as trying to lock down BDD here. Raptor also in the fight. This is Aurora. As BDD gets another dash with the Z and just says goodbye. Very difficult to lock down BDD unless you're going to land the binding.
Still a really cool attempt there from Vikla, and it's a trade of ults that I think you favor as BNK. The Morgana ult, way less value than what BDD's ult's going to be, or would have been, on this Grub fight. Clear has his ultimate to get here from a long way away, despite not having TP, and KT need to be really careful about the setup. No level 6 for either support, and BNK have already gotten the first Grub smiteless here. I think KT is a little bit late on the play and just going to have to give this one up.
Yeah, the objective setups were so clean in game 1. No reason to expect they're not going to be clean in game 2. I mean, this is them right on the ball. Back again.
And the Trundle is just so powerful when he has level 6 into this comp. Like, if he ults either Cuz or Perfect, he's going to be totally fine in these initial fights. When you have that much setup, you also have the smite advantage because you have that damage coming through from BF Sword Diablo to take out the first Grub. It's just crazy. And like I said, they're playing so much through Diablo. They're ganking for him. They're getting him ahead. They have so much utility for him in this draft. It's the perfect front-to-back Sivir draft. If this game goes late, KT are not going to enjoy it. They need to get some sort of big tempo advantage in this game. The 600 gold lead they have now is not enough, especially sitting on 0 grubs, 0 dragons in this game. Undragon alone just buys you time, even if things go wrong later, which we have no reason to expect they suddenly will. But if they do, you still have that scaling Sivir in the back pocket. But right now, the scaling Sivir is 200 gold up. Yeah. 20 CS up.
Send Diablo mid already. Just 9 minutes into the game. They're going to send Vikla into the side lane. All the turrets have full plates, and KT, they want to go for a fight here. They're going to engage onto Alistar. Kellen says, well, okay, I'm going to lock you down with the stun, as in goes the Morgana with the ult. They're going to lock down Peter, and there's nothing that he can do. The Rakan famously not very fun into the Morgana. Even in the mid lane, nice pullback here from the side of Dukdom, but now the follow-up comes in from Kellen and zones everybody away from Cuz, who was trying to get in there, trying to get that kill, but it's just going to go the way of Diablo instead. As now we got Perfect into this fight, it looks like maybe Diablo has stepped too far forward, and Perfect at least will get the shutdown onto him.
Still a really big win here for B&K, but for KT, you got at least one back in this exchange. But man, the fight's very clean here for B&K. Bit of a peculiar one for Cuz as he decides to chase and then pulls off and then goes back in as his Warrior Trickster comes up. Not able to secure that kill. Very frustrating for him. The biggest issue here, though, is the Cyclone engage is onto this Alistar, which then leaves VDD open, has to flash behind this pillar. Peter obviously has nothing he can do, is stunned and locked down. And then from here, it's like, what can you really hope to do? Dukdom finds this incredible flash angle here to lock Raptor down, who nearly dies. Again, Cuz, the red buff here, loses the Warrior Trickster, but just cannot quite reach. Dodges a lot here, but eventually does get killed by Diablo. But once Diablo's flashed, Perfect knows he can go in here, gets the all-out off, and is able to take him down. So a trade back does go over, but it's a 2-for-1 for the side of B&K. Gold lead still, it's straight up even. Like KT had a little bit, it was whittled down, whittled down, whittled down, and now it's 0 practically in this game.
Yeah, still a very close affair at this point in time. You know, you mentioned the scaling of the Sivir and how she's going to really enjoy this late game. I still do have my qualms from the draft where it just feels like if you have Morgana mid, at least they don't have Karma. Like, at least you're playing AP Morgana mid instead, so you have a bit more damage, but you're still lacking, and only a Sivir in today's League of Legends might not be enough. I know it's Diablo, and he's got a lot of protection, but I'm not convinced just yet by this draft.
Obviously, Perfect landing into a Morgana. The Morgana's just chilling down there. We'll see what BDD can get done into this Scion pick inside. So far, really, it's just a brick wall. Only has a Bombies right now and those plated steel caps, so doesn't really have any magic resistance to stop the pressure here from BDD, but he just got so much health that it doesn't necessarily matter, right? And so the lane setups here kind of favoring B&K. BDD can't get anything done. Appears like even able to get the slow off onto him, and now Perfect maybe the target. I don't think there's a wave here. There's not, so gonna reset. But they have Dragon Prio in the bottom lane, and now the approach becomes so tricky here for KT.
BDD cannot lane into clear right now. Oh, there's the lockdown actually onto the Rakan as, again, Peter, he's really feeling the pain from this Morgana. And Morgana came after the Rakan, so it's feeling like in these team fights, he just can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so easy to lock down anyone who's just running at you and then just say, well, I'm going to take half your health bar away, thank you very much. Peter does have flash and ult here, and he may simply have to find a forced angle here if they're going to win this fight.
Oh, BDD is getting massively chunked as well. They can't fight anymore. Here comes Scion into the back line as now KT going to go for the engage. Big knockback here from Perfect. But they're already going to take down Diablo, and they might not have enough, although they are going to get the chomp here. Vikla goes down, B&K are trying to abandon ship, but another Scion Q, and the knock over the wall means that Peter has to get away. Raptor getting pretty low, BDD a bit out of mana, and I think that knockback does not hit means that the action will end a close fight in a close game.
Yeah, Peter makes that re-engage happen. I was talking about he's got flash, maybe he's the one to save this. His engage buys him enough space here to actually take a true fight. The black shield is actually used on the Scion on the initial chase. Dogtom gets hit by the slow, and then Peter's like, I've got to try something here. Goes in, gets a massive charm here with the Cyclone follow-up. BDD gets into the backline. So much damage done by Dogtom as well in this narrow choke point that BNK are fighting, and they're so beefy, though. They take him out just the same, and I think if KT either hit this knock-up from Peter, unfortunately misses it, or BDD has mana, they could probably get one more back, but instead, it is just going to be, again, an even trade in an even game.
And guess what? BNK say, well, that was cool and all. We're ready to fight again if you'd like. KT say, no thanks. It's Hextech Soul. And double Dragon here for BNK, so they are 2 steps ahead of KT.
Yeah.
And so
Also,
the game is even in gold, but...
the wave clear that Diablo has means that they should always just be able to get to these objectives first. And as we saw in that last fight, the way KT got back into it was some good ult usage, right? But like Cyclone, the ult coming through from Peter, but when the ults are all down, BNK is like, well, my comp still does a lot. Like, Morgana still has Q, okay, and we still have this tanky front line. We also have a Sivir that's going to do massive damage, even on one item. So we're happy to just run it back. Whereas KT's like, at this point, I kind of need those R buttons. I can't actually fight you here.
Yeah. That's a very good point. I think BNK identified it as well, and they said, well, this is free for us. And it's just going to go miles for them in terms of getting ahead and trying to scale in this game. And just making sure you don't fall too far behind in terms of gold. Because KT do have a very slight lead. A lot of that is in mid. A lot of that is in top as well. So solo lanes are going well. As now Dogtom in a little bit of a weird spot is going to ghost and go for the Featherstorm. As once again we're fighting. Kellen is going to survive, has the redemption on top of it, and will be okay.
So many tools down, though. Like, you lost 2 big ults again in this fight, and that favors BNK because they don't need their ults as much. Like, the Morgana ult, is it even real? Like, it can be useful, sure, but when you trade that for Aurora, all of her mobility, all of that burst she wants in a team fight, you're feeling good about that. Dogtom on such an incredibly long cooldown with this Featherstorm, and he's just not going to have that safety anymore. That Blackfire Torch is done here for Vikla. Going to add a lot more damage in these fights now with his upgraded Sork Pen boots because they have feats of strength. KT is starting this objective up, but again, BNK, all they really have to do is show up, do that wave in mid, and they're ready to fight. And they've got choke point control here.
Yep, trying to get into that banana brush, and this is what BNK's comp does. They're looking for Dogtom. They're going to force his flash already. Kellen probably going to have to do the same, though, as here they go. The engage comes in from the side of KT. Diablo in a big world of hurt gets super low. Meanwhile, Clear getting 1v1 by Perfect, who should take him down, and that will be the kill going to KT, and should be the Rift Herald as well.
Okay, they grab Rift Herald here. It's a really massive play from Cuz on the Flash Cyclone, and it's BNK that stepped just a bit too far forward, and even though Kellen has a Black Shield for the escape, the Cyclone is going to catch multiple members. Vikla here.
Vikla?
Just trying to be annoying.
He almost got it.
Sometimes you could steal those away with a cheeky burn. Not this time. But the Cyclone re-engage is saving KT here, as Cuz is the one on the Herald. And I think they just thought, oh, well, he's going to stick Herald and try to look for the smite. He says, no, I'm going to drop it and get on top of the whole team here. The Black Shield getting insane value for Kellen, but for Kellen only. Diablo, so incredibly low, is shoved away.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, somehow, mysteriously, the top lane fight was going the way of Perfect. Let's take a look at that as he is at half health. It's just the all-out. Goes in, gets the stun, and even has a cookie in his inventory.
Does a lot more damage.
Yeah, he does a lot more damage. As he is an ult down.
We're fighting again, by the way. As here we go, Kellen gonna lock down Cuz, who does get out of there just fine after that one. Dogtom super low, and the TP came in from Perfect, kind of not for much. And they didn't even get the mid lane tier 1, which is very unfortunate for KT.
Yeah, especially because the Sivir and Morgana are just gonna shred these waves. They're not gonna be able to get another one to crash in and take it down. So close, but so far here now for KT. We really want to commit to this. I just don't think they'll be able to get it. And that's a huge win for BNK on the defense there. But that last fight puts him down in gold.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's playing with fire, and down he will go. BDD assassinates him. A little bit of help from Peter. But, yeah, Vikla has gotten caught out once again.
Unfortunate for him. Looks like he is going for the Rylai second for some additional slows. More utility than the damage I was talking about he could have gone for. A double burn onto this Cassante. So again, just all utility, all power for Diablo in this draft. On a ward, Vikla here goes for a Q. And it's the last one he'll see on this life. 80 bursts him down.
Yeah. Thankfully, he gets to respawn.
Yeah. TP mid, and they are going to get this turret finally.
Yeah. Should be able to. Vikla is going to respect it. The gold pretty heavily in favor of KT at this point in time. A couple of big picks and fights as the Black Shield will go down on a Raptor. It's not going to save him, though, as he did not have the subjugate, it looks like. Meanwhile, underneath this turret, Clear continues to get bullied out. Down was a couple of levels, now it's 2. Diablo caught out by Peter, and down he will go in the mid lane.
And suddenly it's all falling apart, Valdez. KT just keep getting these picks, and this is not the same setup, not the same clean gameplay we saw from BNK just prior. It all starts with that Wukong flank, right? The overextension there, then the kill from Perfect in the top lane. Now the picks going into Vikla, then Diablo. 2 more kills over to KT. 4,000 gold is now their lead. And even though Double Dragon is BNK, as they get the first of the Hextex, BD's going to grab another turret here in the bottom lane. And Raptor here is just trying to fight for vision, fight for prio, just gets cycloned to death. Sure, he's caught, you know, he's Trundle, but he doesn't have ult, so... This is Peter calling for this, and look for it. You get it.
There you go.
Let's go bot.
Pretty simple. He has ult. He finds Diablo alone, and it's pretty elementary from there. So KT have this pretty massive lead at 20 minutes into the game.
Let's see if their Otacon take is as clean as BNK's was in game 1.
I think it needs to be. You know, Diablo hasn't really had a big effect on this game yet, but he's still only 2.5 item Sivir. He's getting pretty close to getting scary in these fights. Hasn't really been scary so far, though.
And I think KT just don't have prio right now around this objective. They're trying to push mid and trying to pull BNK back, but BNK are just not going to take the bait. They're playing very defensively, very safe here around this objective. As it's harder for KT to go in, and they're better if they have objective control and they look for a turn or a flank, a cutoff onto the back line like we saw from Cuz on the Herald fight. But if they don't answer this mid push, I mean, eventually Duckdom's going to get to this turret, and they're going to start taking it down. It's going to get the ult out of Clear as well.
Yeah, Clear doesn't really get to play the game. Oh, the blinding on a BDD! The max range, and he is just out of this one. Shut down as Vikla.
It's hard to drop turret aggro as Morgana in this case, the Blackfire Torch.
Sure.
But he's a bit deep on that one. He got the binding.
Can they do Otacon? No, they're not
I don't think so. Nah. It's just not possible in this case, and they're not going to be able to defend their mid-inner either. As Duckdom is just like, well, BDD's dead. I'm going to push this one down. Vikla knows he's very far forward here. And could have dropped the turret aggro a while ago. Oh,
he got it back
in, yeah, with the W. I think he could have just left. I think his teammates had that one. BDD's not happy about it. We saw in the player cam earlier.
Oh, he died.
How did he die? How did he die? Well, we know. He re-aggroed the turret.
We saw the replay, yeah. So now it's, you know, they got a big shutdown on a BDD. It was 4,000 gold. Now it's 2.7. Still liking KT's chances. The fact that they have a multi-threat comp, and Sion doesn't really exist right now. And Sivir, yes, did hit 3 items, but I'm still not convinced by this draft. We haven't seen a good team fight yet from it, as they might just try to set up here on Otacon once again, though.
I mean, they have so much prio that I think they certainly can, and KT have to engage into this comp. Again, it's so much tougher for them when they have to be the ones who make the call. Flank from Perfect to come through as well here. BNK, let's see how they decide to play this. They're going to look for BDD.
Yeah, they want to get on a BDD. It's Aurora with ult and flash, though. As the Otacon going to stay leased, actually. KT going to continue on this one. But BDD very far away from his team. Doesn't have his ult either. And it looks like they just want to turn on the BDD once again on the hunt. But this Otacon is certainly in danger. It might just come down to a flip as BDD, and it goes over to KT. They get the Otacon, but BDD is out of the fight. Vikla now able to flash away. Flash on in from the side of Duckdom, though, will take him out. As now, a little bit of a rough one. A little bit of a scuffle as in they go. The Cyclone is there. Kellen's still got his ult, but the massive play from Perfect is going to find everyone. And Diablo is not able to to stand up to that, and KT knocked them down. The triple goes to Duckdom after the play from Perfect.
Yeah, we were talking about a lot of resources going to the Sivir. The Sivir's on 3 items, but the 2.5 items. Zaya is now on 7 kills, 1,000 gold ahead. Duckdom makes massive plays on it. They sacrifice BDD and get everything else. It's the feather callback timing here with Duckdom that allows Cuz to secure the smite. They get the Otacon. They turn on to Vikla. Raptor has the black shield here, but he's not able to attack or really get any value to anyone. And because Diablo is out of the fight chasing BDD, he's now zoned away. He does very little damage in this fight. Meanwhile, Duckdom is doing all of the damage. He's at full health. This play from Perfect gets the double Q3, has the all-out here on the Diablo. He is deleted. Duckdom picks up a triple, and KT are fully in the driver's seat of this game now.
Yeah, we weren't sure what to expect from Perfect in this series, but, you know, kind of like Sue yesterday, who kind of came back out of nowhere. I think Perfect is trying to make a case for himself as well. You know, he struggled a little bit in game 1. I feel like everybody on the side of KT struggled, though, so that's not really fair to call him out specifically. K'Sante has been beautiful. He's been absolutely destroying clear in the side lane, and now he makes that play. The guy deserves a lot of respect for what he's doing here in game 2.
I mean, the man is inconsistent, but on his best days, he is a terror on the Rift, and this is one of those games. You can see he has the highest experience on the whole Rift, and Vikla is now the target inside.
Yeah, Ult's gonna come down here on a Peter, but there's really no escape for him as he doesn't have anywhere to go. Easy kill on the Vikla. Not gonna go for the Baron just yet, though.
Perfect here, still in control of this side lane. They get the pick top side. Don't think they can go for Baron, like you say. Have a 2-dragon lead. Can, though, you know, fight for vision around it. They have a ton of vision set up deep into the jungle of BNK. It's really nothing that they are unaware of. Perfect is going to get engaged on, but he doesn't care.
Well,
he has a blast
team
cone
is coming here, and they're doing Baron now. They're all chasing K'Sante.
And there's no vision here, actually, for BNK.
Yeah, this
on
is
the Baron.
The most BNK play we've seen this series.
Must kill champion!
Yeah, and they will. They definitely will. I hope they at least get the kill over to Diablo as they get the news about, yeah, that will go over to Diablo. It's actually a lot of gold, but I don't think that KT care. They have 44 petals, Baron buff, Otacon, double Hextech Drake. They have a massively fed AD carry, a lot more fed than the Sivir, although now without K'Sante, trying to make a play here is
Ellen
BNK.
on the flank. Maybe he could actually headbutt Duckdom. Duckdom has ult, though, and Ghost.
Yeah, Cuz gonna find him. Kellen, considering what he wants to do here, is gonna go for the ults. There's the flash on in, but the follow-up is just non-existent. And now KT does come in. The callback is massive from the side of Duckdom, and the damage is there. Diablo not quite able to do the same. And it looks like this might just do it here in this fight. KT roll over them and take them down.
KT Rollster in a phenomenal position now in this game to just end it. They have Baron. They don't know if they can necessarily kill the Nexus off this play, but there are some long death timers. We are 27 minutes into the game, and with this mid being completely open right now and the Baron buff minions, they are going to at least get a crack at it. They'll take out this inhibitor and look to push. 25 seconds left on the Sivir, which is the main source of wave clear. I think KT just have enough damage.
Yeah, they can easily take this one up. And with the Baron buff especially, they will be able to get on in and take down this Nexus, says Kellen. And Raptor not going to be able to do anything. KT strike back, and we do indeed have a series on our hands.
This has been a good one, man. I'm really enjoying both sides of how this is being played out. Some big outplays from Duckdom in this game on the Zaya, but also Perfect having that big glow up here in game 2 on the K'Sante. BD sacrifices himself on the Otacon call, Cuz with the flank Wukong. But it wasn't a bad game from BNK either. They had their moments. They were trying to play around this Sivir. They had the front to back. Once they lost control of the map, though, it got a little bit tougher. That Otacon attempt, when you're not in full control, gets a little bit trickier than what we saw in game 1.
BNK gonna have to go back to the drawing board. At least they'll get blue side for the first time in the series. But yeah, this came down to a lot of great fights, some clutch moments from players on the side of KT, and BNK not having enough time to play around only Sivir. Not gonna work out there in that game number 2. And we'll see how they do bounce back for game number 3 from the blue side, we are assuming. But we'll take a break and have the space. We'll be right back.
여기 옆에 다 돈다. 야 알리텔이야 알리텔.
끝낼게.
알리텔. 나 정면에 찍어놓게 얘들아.
알림으로 가라. 알림 때리자 이거.
알리부터 때려.
알림. 천천히 가져야 돼. 나 가져야 돼.
나 있어 옆에. 알리.
나 앞에 두 사인 누구? 사인 누구? 나 혼자 있어. 트란데.
가져가. 잘 넣어놨어. 보자. 갈게 11로 돌.
나 미드 탈탈 수 있긴 한데.
이제 텔.
타보자. 30초면 끝.